Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Corbs, once again, joined by Peripheral, who is benched.
Yep, true.
And
I
then
can
we got,
confirm I am benched.
and then for our guest this week, we got Sam Knight, who is a Lucio OTP from Rio Redemption.
Appreciate the slander, but I'm working on other characters.
And we got Sergeant Pepper, who Nev forced him to be hard stuck 3.2. Unfortunately, he cannot get past the 3.3 mark.
To be fair, I did prove the haters wrong.
Actually bogged by Navino.
Yes, very true. You did prove those haters wrong. And speaking of which, let's see.
Man.
And going into, well, speaking of haters, let's go into last week's game real quick. So, we had a 3-0 Wisdom over Geo once again. The player of the match being P-Bach, and the honorable mentions being Sergeant Pepper and Titanic. And Rio is getting the 3-0 over Fortunate Sons. Player of the match being TIE Fighter, and the honorable mention being here with Sam Knight. And I completely forgot Sergeant Pepper was here too, so. Alright. First game. We had Wisdom versus Geo. Honestly, Wisdom just, what it looked like was Wisdom had a tempo. They kept it throughout the entire game, and nothing too much that Geo can do, really, with, especially with how Wisdom was playing. So, Peripheral and Sergeant Pepper, obviously, you two were both in this game. Let's start with Peripheral on your thoughts about the game, and go for it.
You know, I'm gonna be honest, I think that was probably the closest 3-0 I've seen in recent memory. Yes, it was a 3-0, but Kings and Lijiang were super close. Like, Kings legitimately came down to 2 kills, and I think, but for a few moments of instability or just bad plays from our players, I think we could have won that map. Same kind of goes for Lijiang, but I also think Lijiang was admittedly less close. Rialto, I think, was kind of like our Lijiang map against Rio in our last game, where it was just a matter of tenacity, and they kind of had the snowball, and that kind of culminated, and we just kind of crumbled under the pressure. But that's nothing against Wisdom. They're still a very good team, a very hard team to play against, with a lot of individual skill on their team, as we obviously saw in that game. And yeah, I mean, hats off to them. They played really well on the day.
I agree. It was pretty close. Probably closer than it should have been, to be honest. We're still playing really inconsistently, and we take a long time to warm up, but I guess the results speak for themselves. We're doing okay.
Yeah, y'all have a very tough game next week against Rio. Well, but before we actually go into the predictions, Sam Knight, I'm hoping did you watch the game by any chance?
I saw a little bit of a highlight reel.
Yeah.
We haven't, as a team, went over the actual game in preparation.
Gotcha.
But it looked to be, like Peripheral was saying, like really close. Both teams really just kind of like were trying to get that final sink into victory, and then Wisdom just had the edge a couple extra times, so they were able to pull out a 3-0.
Yeah, honestly, Wisdom just knew how to finish maps compared to Geo, and Geo looked great, but the problem is they just never finished.
Yeah, we kind of cracked under the pressure, it felt like.
Oh, yep. And speaking of which, speaking of Rio, they had a pretty solid 3-0 victory over Fortunate Sons, with Sam Knight being the honorable mention and TIE Fighter actually being the player of the match for that game. So Sam Knight, what were kind of your thoughts in the match?
Surprisingly, a lot of our focus went off of Fortunate Sons and kind of just like recentering ourselves. The break helped, especially after the Geo loss. That kind of, you successfully boomed a lot of Rio Peripheral, so.
Wait, what did I do? Oh, Geo as a whole, yeah. No, I didn't do a thing. I had the least contribution to our win, I'm gonna be real.
But a lot of it was just like recentering ourselves, getting back a lot of our confidence and playing like how we should be playing. And then, unfortunately, Fortunate Sons were the result of 2 weeks worth of just getting back into how we should be playing.
So pretty much pure rage.
Yeah. RTT was not going to have another Geo game. He was
motivation
committed.
differential.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I kind of casted the game, and pretty much from what I noticed, Red was going in by himself a lot, and you were able, like, what Rio did really was just counter Red's aggression by his exposed backline, which he was able to, which y'all were able to sweep up easily, and B, just straight up kill Red. Honestly, this was, it was just some questionable plays, and also Gordo finally blocked a shatter. Thank you. And yeah, so Peripheral, it is your job to watch this game. Please tell me you did.
Yes, I did.
Good. And what were your thoughts about the game?
That hyper aggressive play style, like when you don't have the team coordination to make it work, it just ends up in your main tank feeding, and that's what happened. Although I do think Red Knight's use of the charge button was getting a bit too it's going a bit off the rails, looking like checkmate out there, if you know what I mean.
We were kind of confused in the game because we were wondering if they were just trying to like get Gordo on the ground when they had ammo advantage, but eventually we just realized that he was just in our backline existing. Yeah, so we just chose to dive run. We just chose to exploit them having a very uncoordinated brawl and just kind of dismantle it.
I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then Sergeant Pepper. Yeah, I'm hoping you also watched the game as well. Obviously it's
enough.
Okay, cool. What were your thoughts about the game? Probably, let's be honest, it's probably the same opinions as us, where it's like, haha, Red feeder.
Well, like, yeah, haha, Red feeder, but you also got to think that FS were integrating new players, right? And I think Red had an uncharacteristically bad game. Like, yeah, he does have overly aggressive tendencies, and he has had them all year. But I think that game was especially bad for him, especially questionable. And I'm wondering how much of it was with him having to gel with the new teammates, and how much was just him.
Vespi King played really well, though.
Yeah, Vespi
Like,
looked
he
good.
was trying to
individually, the new players are cracked and they carry, but there's a team dynamic that you just don't hear. Like there's comms, there's,
and that's what I was about to say. One thing that I do remember from Fortunate Sons is that they were banking on Octo to calm, and the fact he wasn't there last week, it really actually no, the last two games actually, it really showed a lack of communication between the entire team. So. Yeah,
and,
they need
one more thing with Octo specifically, and I'm not sure if you guys have noticed this, but this is something that I've seen. Emily is actually a really great player, but they're a lot more passive than Octo. Like Octo plays ball to the walls aggressive, and that just really fits Red Knight's playstyle. Emily tends to play safer, and I think that makes Fortunate Sons play a little more split and a little more vulnerable than they have to.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the same thing with Rio, where they have Gordo and RQT creating those opportunities. It's kind of the same dynamic between Red and Octo, but Fortunate Sons is a lot more reliant on those two, and like without Octo hitting the crazy nades that he tends to and creating a ton of opportunities for his team, it kind of hurts them, especially with the comms. Yeah, and also, I mean, I think Emily is, she's a good flex support, but, you know, Octo provides more than just being a flex support, which I think was what Wizard was saying, which is a well-made point. But yeah, that hurts them overall.
Yeah, and definitely, definitely Emily's death rate looks a lot lower than Octo's. I can definitely see, like, playing more, I'd value, if I'm a support, I would value survivability over anything. Because you can't really do too much if you're dead.
I expect FS to look a lot better coming into this week, though. Honestly.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. They just don't seem in sync.
Now that Val is looking better, more integrated. Val's actually really good, by the way.
Val's insane. We scrimmed Fortunate Sons once. They were popping.
Exactly. Well, anyways. Speaking of which, we do actually have some games this week, later today, if y'all are watching this on a Friday. So, let's get into some of the predictions. So we got Wisdom versus Rio. and for the first game. Personally, I have Wisdom winning 3-2 in a very, very close series. Peripheral has Wisdom winning 3-1. Analysts are 75% in Wisdom's favor. Community is 71% in Wisdom's favor. And then for Fortunate Sons versus Geo, I actually have Geo winning in a clean sweep here in a 3-0 fashion. Obviously, Peripheral can't really predict this game, even though he's not playing on Geo, but like he is on Geo. Analysts have an 88% for Geo, and Community is 71% in Geo's favor. Now, so let's talk about the Geo Fortunate Sons game real quick, because that one seems like it's going to be a little bit further out rather than like closer, I guess you can say, compared to the other game we have this week. Peripheral, I know, I'm sorry. Actually, no, wait, never mind. I'm not sorry because I predicted a 3-0 in favor of your team.
Hey,
but
for once.
Yeah, so what are y'all doing to prepare against Fortunate Sons this week?
I think just because of how Geo was able to take advantage of a lot of our split playing when we were running the brawl, I think this should be an easy 3-0 for them. Red Knight will create opportunities for them, and then at that it's just cleaning it up.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. And Sergeant Pepper, what are your thoughts about this game?
So going into it, I want to predict Geo, but I think they have better strategy right now. I think they have better team synergy. Their team synergy is actually really scary, and I think stuff like the Junk May comps are really going to catch out FS, because they really don't know how to play against any form of cheese, any unconventional comp that catches them out every single time. That being said, I think with the new players and with Octo returning, I got to give it to FS. They have really talented players, and I think now that they have some more time to gel, they're going to be looking for a win. They're going to be angry.
Yeah, honestly, I could see Fortunate Sons kind of like playing a little bit more upset and like going off of pretty much pure rage. But the thing is, I just don't see that, especially against Geo. I just see Geo walking away with it because they have better teamwork, and especially with this time of the season, then teamwork is the dream work, I guess you can say. And honestly, the team with the best teamwork will more than likely win the finals. It doesn't matter really how good you are if you have terrible teamwork. So anyways, moving on to the next game, Wisdom versus Rio. We actually have two representatives here, go figure, from opposing sides. And obviously Sam Knight, you're probably a little bit upset by the predictions. Pretty much everything sweeping in Wisdom's favor, but predictions don't mean everything. If you saw a countdown a few weeks ago, wait, I'm sorry, that's your team.
I forgot about that.
I
mean, it just showed that even when predictions are on Rio's side, they can still choke.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, but yeah, maybe they can prove us wrong this week. Show up against Wisdom. So obviously, with the new patch notes coming through, are y'all preparing anything differently or what?
we've been working on flexing a bit with our DPS and seeing how that plays out differently. Swapping in JRQT together, things like that. Just seeing what's gonna kind of like stick to the wall in the scrims that we've been going through, and then eventually we'll probably start focusing in on what we saw, some of the weaker aspects of Wisdom, to try to exploit and try to game plan around that.
Yeah. Honestly, this patch looks like it's gonna be super scary to shake up the meta. I mean,
it's gonna be so bad.
I know.
Okay,
but
if the patch goes live,
pretty much.
Can you just send a message to RQT? We're gonna have a gentleman's agreement, okay?
To not play.
Genji 1v1.
Genji.
We're trying to
Okay,
get rid of
only
Genji.
Genji.
Only Genji.
Yeah,
Yeah, Genji
RQT
1v1. We're
dead
doing it.
fraud.
We're deciding it.
All right, sounds good. But anyways, Sergeant Pepper, now that you revealed that you are gonna play Genji if the patch goes through, what are?
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, exactly. What are your thoughts about going into this game, considering that this is a very key match for Wisdom going forward?
So, we're really just focusing on playing our game because I think when we play our game, nobody can beat us. I honestly don't think it's a competition. I think individually we are crazy cracked as a team. And I think the only things that hold us back are really basic blunders and some communication breakdowns. The more we work on that, the better we get. It doesn't really matter the comps we play. We can still just win if we play together as a team. We're working on some comps. I don't want to talk about them. We're not working on stuff for the coming experimental patch yet. We're working on what we know. That's all I'm going to say, I think.
Yeah, well, yep, sounds good there. I mean, obviously you don't really want to reveal strats, but Peripheral, you did predict Wisdom in a 3-1 fashion. What were your thoughts behind the prediction?
You know, I think this is going to be closer than the scoreline would, well, than my predicted scoreline would suggest. I think both of these teams have similar strengths. Well, actually, you know, I don't think they really have similar strengths and weaknesses, but they both have, like, distinctive strengths. They both have good team play. So I really think this one's just going to come down to who wants it more ultimately. Like, I don't see a clear advantage except for, like, maybe you could argue that Wisdom has a more, like, explosive backline, but Rio's tank line has that same pop off potential. So I think, yeah, it'll really just come down to who wants it more, honestly. It's gonna be a good one, I think.
Yeah, honestly, this is my pretty much key match of the week. I will actually be casting the other game, Geo versus Fortunate Sons, so unfortunately I will not be watching it live. Boo-hoo. But, yeah, so, Peripheral, we do have a special little segment that I want you to lead, so go ahead and ask the question.
All right, yes. So, as y'all probably know, if you don't, where have you been? We do have MVP and Rookie of the Year awards, so I wanted to get you guys, the players' opinion. I suppose I'm a player, but I don't really count since I haven't escaped the bench in years. I haven't seen the sunlight ever, it feels like. But yeah, anyway, yeah, who do you guys think could be MVP and Rookie of the Year contenders, basically?
Sam Knight?
I'm going to try to stick away from my own team, just so you don't get any of that bias and talk about some other teams.
Oh, it's funny, though.
But I do think...
On week, I guess 6 now. Yeah, it's week 6 now. Not week 6, like it was last week. You know, I messed up there. I'm your host Navino, joined by my co-host Jeffbot. El Jefe has spoken. And this week we're joined by Monarch from MI6.
Yo.
And Dizzy from Tenacity.
Hello.
Look at Dizzy's profile picture. It's a dancing duck.
Yes, I know, right? It's a dancing duck.
It's pretty dope.
The cap moves as well.
I know, it's a happy duck.
What Discord Nitro can buy you guys? All right, now we're just gonna jump straight into the recaps of the week. I'm gonna kind of quickly go. I want to kind of go quickly through these. So first, DC versus Exodus. DC wins 3-1. To me, like, DC just looked kind of dominant the entire time, with, like, except on Gibraltar, where I think, like, the standout player was honestly Dildo or Kate, as many of us know him, who just looked really good in the Zarya. Honestly, like, we'll see how they look going in. I know they have some new signings like Toxinator. I've never really seen them play, so I don't really know. I've never heard of them either. So, but I'm excited to see how they keep building and rebuild. They play Tenacity this week, don't they?
No. Yeah, we do.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
we play them.
It's just nice, Disney.
Thank you.
Anything else anyone wants to add about this game?
I think
What-
Exodus looked like the game was close. The game was pretty close outside of Volskaya, I think. Exodus made some okay swaps at sometimes, but then struggled at other points. I think them being able to recognize when a comp isn't working and being able to swap is going to help them a lot, because Double Cap was just out-comping them for a large portion of this game, I think, with the exception of Gibraltar, where I think they were maybe in the mirror, pretty close to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just think Exodus needs to realize, like, some of these comps aren't working and make those swaps a lot quicker than they did this week.
Yeah.
Weren't Exodus down like 3 players from what I heard? Like,
I mean, the line. I know they were down Aurora, and then like obviously Wizard left the team,
yeah.
but they still had Laser. They like I don't know who they were down other than Aurora.
Oh,
Were they down
kind
that?
Laser.
no.
Laser's
What-
laser.
Wait, were they down that flex sport that played versus Capitalism?
Yes.
Danny.
Yeah, Danny.
Ah, okay. So I guess a little scuff for them.
I
Yeah.
mean, they got one map down, so that's okay enough.
Honestly, I think Exodus should just like. I think they should just keep sticking with Kate on these Zarya comps because he has no brain, but he's an insane mechanical
Yes.
player. He could easily carry like several maps for them if they just stick to like Zarya heavy, like very like
Yeah.
Zarya favored maps.
Katagiri
mean-
played out of their mind this game though, like as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about that. Like when you're talking about off tanks, like like by far just looked like the best player on the field, like almost
Yeah.
every map. Like insane game.
I mean,
Big.
yeah. But yeah, Kate, as anyone from Season 3 DC knows, has all aim, no brain. But that aim really does go burr.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Um,
a few players I know, honestly.
It sounds like the old man himself, KZY, except he has no brain and no aim. Just old man. All right, moving on to the next game is the reverse sweep, second in a row against Capitalism, where
Unlucky.
Pega Parrots
I mean-
reverse sweeps Capitalism. Play of the match was Kizgo. Honorable mention was Golo, or that's Know You, right? Golo's Know You. Pretty sure Golo's Know You.
I've never
yeah.
heard
Maybe,
of this
yeah. It
I
must,
think so.
Yeah, it has to be.
I gotta say
Change his
this.
name every single time.
Yes, bro, I can. Addicts, Know You, whatever. Like, and they looked atrocious in the brawl, like atrocious. Oh my gosh, atrocious. But looked pretty good at double shield because double shield go burr and Pharah go burr. That's really how I kind of saw from this game. Was as soon as they got to more poke-oriented maps where Capitalism couldn't just run the brawl, they kind of got smacked.
No, you Addicts is known for his ball play. Or...
Well, even towards the end of it, they were taking the maps on Brawl even, right? As
They
well.
did the very last map,
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
and that was because if Capitalism just like Capitalism ran 4 new starters from the week before, 4 new starters. They played Greek. I gotta say I didn't think Greek played that great outside of like his Rhine was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, but like his other tanks just didn't look that comfortable, and also like the weird thing on Rialto where he played Sig and Remy played Orisa was not good.
Well,
It's
and
not
how long he sticked on Hog as well on Rialto really
Yeah.
hurt them as well. Like, I'm you could just watch his health pool just draining ult percentage to the other team. Like, Emerald was feasting on Hog that night, like very much.
I think at this point, Capitalism is just trying to keep afloat
Yeah.
to anything, a win at least.
This match was a little painful for me to watch because Capitalism has a lot of players that I know and I've played with, and it just kind of hurts to see them second week in a row just choke out a victory. That was like that close.
Yeah.
Like first 2 maps, they looked pretty
They
well.
looked dominant on the first 2.
Yeah,
Like they kind of just rolled them, and then like it was the same thing versus Exodus. They looked dominant versus Exodus, and then as soon as it got out of like the brawl mirror, they lost some of that momentum. They just looked not good.
yeah.
Quite unlucky. Maybe they'll get a win.
I mean,
sooner or later.
We'll see. We'll see the new Thought Police roster, but I think they like if they beat Thought Police, then we have like a 3-way race for the last playoff seed.
Yeah,
but we'll talk
I-
about that later.
They're in
Hey.
it. Yeah.
Hypnotos, we trust.
And then next we have MI6 versus Mortal Wombat. MI6 won 3-2. Play the match with Swifters, and then honorable mentions for Andrew O and Laura.
I gotta say.
It was
Andrew
close.
O. He's a madman. Played
Yeah.
against his Ryan. Whew.
I mean, it was close. I like the only thing I don't think I just think we played badly. That's really it. Like I have nothing really to say past that. Like yeah, I can say playing without Sly was rough, but that's just kind of like luck of the draw, you know. Like sometimes it happens. And like Monarch, you had a really good game, honestly. I really don't think Lore had a good game, honestly. I don't know why he's honorable mention. I think he had not a good game outside of his Ash on Gibraltar.
Yeah.
But then you guys lost Gibraltar.
Yeah, Gibraltar for us is really rough. I feel like we just don't have like we don't have like a comp that we really think that just works for us on Gibraltar right now. So it's rough for us.
Gibraltar is one of those maps where you can just be good at it, then for 1 second, and then just get rolled the next few.
True.
I would say it's real. MI6 kind of just overall consistently knew what they were doing with a lot of their comps. How to plan and execute it a little better than Mortal Wombat in the end. Like, whether it was like leader, but like man, every week MI6 looks really organized though. So if anything, like
I don't know. I think the King's Row was pretty disorganized.
Yeah, and the King's Row with the Sigma switch when you're running like the sim, the more you want to build up. It just looked like you kind of got Frankensteined on a comp, but I don't know.
I feel like if we wanted to run the Sig, we need to have a bit more like a poke brawl, like let our Sig like and say like go really poke out and wait for something to happen, then we push in on that. I feel like we just weren't like really playing with our Sig or for our Sig.
Yeah. But overall, like, good stuff. Y'all really proved yourself out there. Like, you know, it'll be interesting. So if they lose to DC, then like it's really gonna be a close. I think it just goes to map differential at that point. If they lose to DC and like then there's like that the same way we have a 3-way thing. But Exodus is also technically still in this. But if they lose to Tenacity, they're gonna be out of it because that'll be their third loss. So like there is like still a lot of jostling for the 2nd and 3rd seed. So we'll see what happens.
Pulling out the power ranking here, I do believe in out of all the teams that MI6 is like top 3, interchangeable with like DC and well, top 3. Like on the most days, like top 2. If Double Cap gets their stuff together with everything, then obviously Double Cap top 2 because of mechanics and just press W and win. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just played the worst that we had in the last few weeks, and it's
Which is unlucky, but you play for playoffs now, not for regular season, so there's that.
Yeah, I mean, we still got time. I'm not impressed about it. Like it was a learning experience. I think we also winning kind of sleeper because
it was definitely really close on like all maps.
Except a control center on Lijiang. We kind of I don't know what kind of happened to us. We kind of just like
I can tell you what happened to you. Lore just played Junkrat. That's pretty much.
I thought Switchers was a joke.
We have him on Sim because of ping things.
Ah, okay.
Yes, ping.
So, yeah. Moving on to the last game. It was Tenacity 3-0 versus Stop Police. I don't even know what really happened here. Jeff told me he wasn't really worth watching. I heard there was a back cap by a May.
Oh my gosh, I could talk about that. Like, can I give like a second to talk about that back cap? I think
it's playing in the background right now, Dizzy.
Oh my god!
So perfect time.
Like we called to push up, and before that fight, I say, "Hey, there's a May behind us," and no one listens right there. Maybe someone listened, but we say, "Let's push up." We push up. May back caps. Oats say, "I got it. Don't worry." I say, "Okay." Oats is out. MVP interplayer Smurf ? And the man said later, "I need help." I didn't hear a thing because I'm just yelling, "Forward, lads, forward. Take the motherland." And then
Take the motherland.
the next thing I noticed, we're down like 5, and they capped second. Oh well.
Wow.
Outside that one moment though, like it was kind of dominance. Yeah, and it's obviously with the circumstances, you guys not really are having to put together a roster like last minute.
I was angry. They woke me up from my 3-hour nap. That was a beautiful nap right there. And they dared wake me up. Ha. Huh.
But yeah, you guys dominated like this one.
Alright. So now let's move on to, I guess now we have a pre-award show discussion. So what here? I think to me that has to be Oats.
Yeah.
Because that has to just be Oats.
Well, let's talk about Oats in context of MVP. I think because
I mean, Oats is surrounded by star caliber players.
Yeah.
It's really easy to look good on Tenacity.
Tenacity are literally just like season 2-3 shock.
I would agree, but I think they're probably not going to give it both award. Like if he's in the context of that, like so you know what I'm saying or trying to say.
Like you cannot win both.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
But the man can.
So I'm gonna say Oats, and then if I'm being honest, like probably Katagiri wouldn't be a bad choice, or who else is even new this season?
Not
I think
much.
This is Ravioli's first season as well.
No, it's not.
right?
No,
is
it's
it not?
not. It
Okay,
is not.
so
It is
okay,
not.
I thought
He's played in like every season.
Okay, I thought I
I
saw
would go to give something.
a Google
Maybe,
sheet.
I would give it
maybe it was
to.
something.
Rocket, maybe? No, Rocket left the team.
No one got much. Yeah, it's just hard to really like. It's hard to find someone that's new.
I'm pulling
I mean,
up.
Sam from Mortal Wombat's new, and he's played pretty well. But like,
Yeah.
I would say Katagiri is probably the next best.
Oh,
thing.
Katagiri is the person. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Jakaru, Katagiri, like they're probably the best newcomer, if not Oates.
Maybe we give it. I would honestly, in my opinion, MVP to MVP to Ravioli and newcomer for Oates. That's my personal opinion. Not biased anyway. Not on the team by them. With them, by the way.
No bias whatsoever.
No bias.
Oh yeah,
No-
Dizzy,
no
you're technically a newcomer as well.
No, he's
Dizzy.
not.
Yeah,
No, he's not.
Why does Kern have him marked as a rookie? Is this your first League Zero?
Yes,
season?
it is.
I thought
I
so.
tried-
Yeah.
Okay,
What?
so I tried to join League Zero earlier. I waited in like League Zero main server for pugs, and I was waiting for a long time, wondering where all the pugs are at. I didn't know I had to go to individual servers for pugs.
Oh.
That's funny.
Huh. Okay, I guess I could give it to Dizzy. I could see Dizzy getting it.
Honestly, with me feeding so much, I don't want to give it to me because my playstyle is too stupid for Rookie of the Year.
Enough stupidity works.
Enough stupidity. Look at Bumper. Look where he is now. Not in the league.
Also, I think Nova might count as a newcomer because he wasn't on the League Zero. Like, because he was in the draft, but he didn't play in the League Zero team last season.
Well,
He wasn't on the team.
I believe he would be a rookie as well. But I
But
don't.
Nova's actually not a bad choice. Either.
He didn't miss. He also missed last game. Capitalism is winless. Like, there's better
Yeah.
options.
But
I
as an
think.
individual, he still played pretty well. Like, I think he'd be a fine choice.
It's
I think
hard.
it's, we're looking at individual skill. Like, it's hard to judge players because we're just judging based on like if they're winning or not. Like, I don't think that's necessarily like
Well,
saying who's
if
the
you
best
put
newcomer.
Oates on any other team, I do think he would exert the same amount of impact, but or maybe more because we the team will put so much resource around Oates compared to Tenacity, where we just do whatever we want and we just press W and win.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the question about MVPs, like, can you remove this player from this team, and would they get the same result, or put this player into a different team, would they get the same results?
It's an interesting thought exercise because you really don't know. And I do think like Oates is just a good off tank in general,
Yeah.
right? Like, but I don't think like a team would be as dominant because like you physically cannot carry a team that hard in Overwatch in general.
To be
Ma-
soon, maybe.
in
when it's just
5v5
one tank, yeah. When it's just
Yeah.
one
Soon,
tank.
maybe. My
Yeah.
job will be eliminated.
Rip.
Maybe finally I can get rid of this curse
Some ex-
addiction.
This is just hard for me to choose because I'm genuinely just having a hard time just knowing like who's like a newcomer and because I can recognize a lot of these players, but then like some players I don't recognize, but then I find out later that they like played in advanced last season. Now they're in inter this season, like that.
Yeah. Well, you just look on Kun sheet. The man is blessing us with the sheet.
Yeah, it's
Okay. I think that's all right. And now let's go on to most improved.
Ooh.
I think you have to look at the teams that people were not sure about the positions and how they kind of solidified.
yeah.
Like I think a really good example is like Andrew O.
Monarch.
Swifters.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Monarch was always listed like top half, like in many tier lists.
Yeah, but when you also look at like, I think you can. I also think that he'll be included in other conversations. But yeah, I think he's in this conversation.
I haven't really been paying much attention to other teams except for like mine and maybe keeping tabs on Thought Police.
Wait, what?
Most improved.
Yeah, but why Thought Police? Wait, what?
Why Thought Police? Because I want to see if I don't know why.
I think
just like to-
I
just like to
think
watch Thought
actually.
Police.
It's like you're looking at a dumpster fire, you just can't look away.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
Dumpster fire.
Damn. Wow. Damn.
Hypno, we
Uh,
trust.
And Hypnotoss we trust.
Yeah.
I think.
Uh,
Sorry, go.
With some like little bias for me, I would genuinely give it to Swifters. I feel like he's always been like known for having like a good Pharah, but I honestly think that some of his other heroes like his Mei are a bit more underrated. Like on Mei, I feel like he has good walls and he just like knows what he's doing on Mei a lot of the time. Like I feel like that's like I would personally give it to Swifters because I feel like his other heroes besides his Pharah, which is still really good, they've also improved.
He's played well. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
The problem with most improved is that you're joining a draft league to win, not to improve at all.
Well,
Like,
I
your
think
draft- Well, the main concept of draft leagues is just draft the best players you can think of from pugs just to win the whole thing.
That's
And maybe
true.
they'll improve over time, but it's not like a pre-made team BGNA type thing where you're already pre-made. You can go in and get better and better as a team because you've been.
and then you build up to a win in a different tournament because you just keep playing. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think though most improved like, maybe like,
In my personal opinion, because this is biased, and I've only been watching my team, it's Scrollben, because he went into this league without knowing how to play Mei or some other flex DPS, and he's been doing pretty well. He's been
Scrollbit was
grinding.
like #1 on everyone's tier list.
Yeah,
like-
but
not a flex DPS because
Yeah.
everyone doubted his Mei, which
Yeah,
is true.
and he got
But-
better.
But I don't think I would say most. I think most improved to me is someone that's like, again, like elevated so like their team has reached higher heights. Like, you know,
Can I say most improved position replacement?
McCree, but McCree's been good. Like, it's hard to say with like such a small sample size.
Yeah.
You know, like
I would
it's-
argue
we don't-
like I would
we don't
argue
see
like Nova,
the
or like so unironically, it's hard. Like I would say Nova, or Remy maybe, or like even like Rocket.
I feel like it couldn't be because Rocket's only played 4 games in League ever.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm saying,
so,
but that's the type of
eligible?
people that's the type of people I'm looking at, right? Where it's like
yeah.
before the draft, everyone's like, "Oh, this team's awful," but then they come out of the gate and make it competitive. They looked okay. Like yes, like the last couple weeks has been an implosion, right? But not because of the individual skill of the players. At least.
Well,
not in my opinion.
I'm more. I don't think most improved can go to a rookie, so I wouldn't even include Nova and Rocket in the
But why
conversation.
why can't it go to a rookie?
Because because I think it's most improved in the context of League Zero. And I don't think capitalism has shown like improve. Like I think they're good. I still think they're good. I don't think they've like elevated their gameplay in the context of League Zero. Though. If that makes
also,
sense.
It's also like for a rookie, it's like okay, most improved. What are you like basing that off of? You know, it's like let's say there's like a player from last season, like maybe they were just average, and now this season they like grinded a certain character, and now they're really good at it. You can obviously see improvement there. But as for like a rookie, it's like okay, improvement like throughout the season because that's like pretty much like that's like I hope that most like players improve throughout the season. So it's just like it's for newers, it's just for new players, it's just hard to have like a baseline of what you're judging them off of if like you're gonna give them most improved.
Most improved Pega parrots.
Oh, and replace most of your roster. Shocking.
Yes.
Yep.
Get
Okay.
an actual off-tank player.
So now we move on to the next thing because I don't think we're gonna get anywhere with this. Is MVP?
No.
I think MVP we already talked about. Like Oats and Rav are probably my top 2, just on
Mm-hmm.
tenacity. Outside of that, I would say honestly Pongo for DC. Like him and Frozen are the reason they win games, and like even though like as you said, Jeff, this recently like Katagiri played out of their mind, but like even just the clip of like when Pongo gets whole hogged in Primal off the map and then just jumps back and kills Copy, right? Like, Pongo wills his team in many ways to wins. And I think Pongo's been more consistent than Katagiri, even though Katagiri had a really good game. But if we're talking non-tenacity, I think Pongo. Pongo or maybe... If Dad was still on Exodus and playing, I think you can make an argument for Dad.
I think you can make an argument for Reborn to a degree. I think you can make an argument for like 4 people on MI6, but I think MI6 might just be too strong as a team that no one player seems to stand out, and I mean that in the least toxic way possible. I don't think MI6 has like a true carry.
I think it's either Roy or Andrew. I'm just biased with main tank players.
Fair. I think they're both good, but I think Monarch, you're also good. I think Swifters is also played really good. Like, it feels like every fight is like another person's time to pop off for MI6. So while they have like the second best record in the league, like I don't know if any one of those players have stood out to the level like Ravioli and Oates have carrying fights, or even like you said, the DC tank duo as well. Like it's.
Hey, we're talking about
tough.
Mortal Wombat. I think like if you want to talk about main tanks, like Romi's been a large user, or Sly. Honestly, if you want to talk about main supports, I could get it. Sly is like the reason Mortal Wombat's good. Like outside of Reborn, like the only reason, like I remember people talking about on Gibraltar, like when Reborn had like a really like almost a deadlift on Gibraltar versus Capitalism on Tracers, because like if you watch that game back, like Reborn is getting pack after pack from Sly, like at perfect time, so like Deflex could never take the 1v1 and win because Reborn was always getting packed. Sly is just like a game changer to me if we're talking about just value to a team.
Much like how Dizzy has sort of like a bias towards main tanks, I would also like to shout out I know, like, since he's on Tenacity, it's hard to, like, I would like to shout out iMustache on Tenacity. I know since he's on Tenacity, like, you know, best team in the league, he's obviously going to shine more, but I am genuinely just impressed with, like, the level of, like, that iMustache has been playing it.
It's not easy keeping Dizzy alive.
Yeah.
I manage.
I mean, we can talk about role stars. We have time if we wanted to go through the roles and maybe just do a quick, like...
I think instead of doing like a big like discussion, why don't we just go and name 2 people that we think get role star, or like, because usually like you get a role star and there's a runner up. So
for each role, or
yeah, each role. I'll just start. We'll start with main tank. I'm gonna say. I want to say Pongo and Romy for me.
No bias.
No, but I'm biased, but at the same time, I only say that because you split time with Epic Shock.
Yeah, because
Epic Shock's ball is also very good. So I don't think we even talked about Epic Shock for like most improved or anything. Like, he came out of nowhere. No one thought he was gonna be that good. He's also an off tank player traditionally, isn't he?
Yes, and he's just all
Epic Shock for most improved makes a whole lot of sense, by the way, now that you say it.
Like, yeah, now that you say like Epic Shock is most improved, I think that makes sense. Anyway, but those are my 2 main tanks. Dizzy, your 2?
Why, thank you. I'm flattered.
I think 2 main tanks. Andrew O and Pongo, I think, would be mine. I think Andrew O brings a little more to MI6 than Romy does. And not like skill wise. I just think as the team when he's in versus when he's not in. Because I think there was 1 week Andrew was out and MI6 looked a little lost that 1 week.
If you see this man this great, like I have on Reinhardt, he's inspirational.
But and then Tenacity for a lot of the same reasons you said, because they have like 2 main tanks. It's like, I think both of them are really good. If they were on every other team, they'd probably be in the conversation for this award. But it's just map bias and importance to team bias, honestly.
Monarch, you're 2 main. Wait. Monarch, you're 2 main. I do want to talk, but I also want to keep it moving because.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I do hear pretty much everyone praising Pongo. The thing is, I just haven't watched that many DC games, to be honest. So, me personally, I would give it to Dizzy and, you know, somewhat biased Andrew, you know.
Yeah.
But I would probably give it to Pongo if, like, I don't know, if I watched more DC games. I don't know. I just haven't, like, seen him, like, a lot. From the little bit I've seen, he was really good. But, like, I feel like if I really want to say him as a role star, I would just have to watch more. That's just a me thing, though. Like, that's just me not watching a lot of double cap games.
Yeah. Okay. Let's Dizzy, you're 2.
Not including me?
Yeah, you can.
You can. Me. No, I'm joking. Andrew and Pongo, honestly.
Okay.
Me, if I just feed all the time, and that's a mental thing I play. Imagine just Ryan charging to your back line and kill 4. That's a mental problem.
I mean,
Or-
bro, have you guys seen how many pin bombs Mortal Kombat attempts?
Let's
I haven't
cut,
watched your game.
cut the VOD to first point Kings Row where Dizzy gets deleted.
Dude. I just want to say, Rollstar, Scorben for blocking all those shadows.
Okay. We'll get the flex DPS. We will get the flex DPS.
Yeah.
Off tank now.
Off tank, Oats
We've-
and Oats.
Okay.
Oats.
So basically,
Oats.
yeah, I gotta say oats.
Category.
This one's pretty straightforward for me.
Yeah, oats and
Yeah.
category. Yeah, oats and category.
The thing about off tank is we discussed while talking for MVP, we pretty much just said the off tank like roll stars. Like,
Well,
we
let's
said
just move on.
category. We said oats, but I do want to
Dang
give
guys, no one gives love to like Fifi or Remy, like
I do want to give one shout out to
or Mani or like any.
Here's the thing, I do just want to give one quick shout out to my boy Kate. Like, he probably isn't because he's literally just a Zarya one trick, but he's like just that mechanically gifted. I
And,
just want to give him a shout out to him.
and being
my
a
friend.
late signing, they might
Still,
they might not
No
they might.
Remy, no Fifi, no me. Wow,
I
okay,
think
I'm
think
joking, I
those
really
two,
don't care.
yeah.
There's like,
No,
there's
I
like
think
a
those
higher
two.
top
Yeah.
of off tanks, and there's everybody else. I think.
Yeah.
But
That's
again,
fair.
I don't watch too much games, and I'm an Oats fan number 3. So yeah.
Let's see.
Mhm.
Okay. So then moving on to hit scan. I'm personally gonna say so Rav for sure. And like who even plays hit scan? bro? Like honestly.
Laser maybe like
No, I wouldn't. Laser's not like
he's
Laser's
played well.
He's
played
been
well.
inconsistent.
Yeah.
He's been inconsistent. And plus, he's not there for half the games. I would say like Roy's been inconsistent too. Like, jeez, who even are they?
I mean,
Yeah, you're looking at Vinny just got signed to DC, right? And Frozen was playing McCree.
Oh wait, Frozen.
Yeah.
Frozen. Right. Yeah. Okay. So honestly, like just Rav and Frozen for me.
Okay.
if there was a shootout between Frozen and Rav, I'm just gonna say Rav is just miles ahead of anyone else.
I'm gonna say Rav and Laser. Like, it's probably a hot take, but I think he's been the only consistent piece of Exodus, and I think he's done enough to like.
Consistent because he's always been
yeah,
there.
yeah. I think it could go to Roy at Frozen, probably, but Laser's just an honorable mention, I guess, for me more
Yeah.
than anything.
I would probably put my my number one hit scan like probably Rav, just because like he just does so much for Tenacity. Like Tenacity's just the entirety of all Tenacity's DPSs, they just have stupidly stacked DPS line. It's insane.
True. No bias. Don't play
Yeah,
on the
no
team.
That one was relatively easy. We're hitting easy ones, Nev.
Well, we're trucking through.
Flex DPS is gonna be harder, I think.
Oh,
Reborn. I'm sorry. It's just like
Sure.
probably the top flex DPS outside of like, and
Number
then probably
one
Squirrel
overall.
Ben.
Number 1 overball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like I think you could make an argument like if Ender was still playing, I think he played to a level that he could get roll star, but Ender's not playing anymore.
Dad, obviously.
Are
if
you,
Dad was
are you
on-
really trying to are you really trying to downplay Gay Kid on I'm sorry.
He just joined the team. He just joined the team.
You will get
That was an excuse for me to say his
Yeah.
name. That was an excuse for me to just say his name.
Oh
I didn't know that was his alt, so I had a DM be like, who is this guy? Like, I don't know.
Doesn't all SVT has an account named the same thing too? SVT, but I think it's like Reborn, Ben, and maybe Swifters at this point. Those are the three that I would say.
No
I
bias.
want to
Shout out
say
Swifter.
Ben all just on top because all the shower blocks he gets, especially on Kings, when a certain main tank wants to shadow.
Who was the main tank for TP even, bro? I didn't even watch. Tevatron. Okay.
Tevatron, yeah. Tevatron's pretty good. I have to say that now.
He didn't play bad. Yeah, I think you guys pretty much hit my prediction, so I don't have much, but it would be Squirrel Ben and Reborn
I
for
agree.
me.
Second-
I do think with a long list of honorable mentions, this is probably the most stacked position in the league. I think, like, just top to bottom, there's a lot of talent there.
Alright, main support.
Oh, we're just skipping my role.
Oh,
We'll
no,
get
no.
to flex supports.
Yes.
Yeah. But we could Nev.
Oh, sorry. I'm just like I'm now like Fish is saying when he was on Exodus, they were a top 3 team,
Oh,
and I'm
okay.
like, what? I was like, what?
Okay, so main support. I think this is the one I'm the least sure on, to be honest. I think Corey would be one. I know
DP?
Yeah,
Is
in my opinion, there's
pick.
like the very obvious answer of a DP.
Oh, and a DP, yeah.
A DP has just been really solid for tenacity.
Fair,
Yes, especially in comms. When we are doing a little bit of trolling.
Yeah. Nev, thoughts on main support?
I think Sly a DP.
Sly DP makes sense, yeah. It does. Sly's really important to you. Do you think you win last week if you had Sly?
I think so. I think we can. I obviously like I say that in a perfect world, right? But
It's not.
like it's not a perfect world. Like we could have still lost. It was a close game. I do think Sly does make the difference of one map at the same time. Like we don't know.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
So, I think Sly just brings a lot to a team, and that's why I think he's probably the best, if not like top 2 main sports in the league. Also, I just can't understand what Fish is on. How did this man become a coach at MI6?
That's my coach.
Dude, I love when he put in his freaking player app that he peaked 4200 on PS4. Like that was supposed to mean something, bro. I was like,
Top 5
what?
running on Lucio on console because no one could aim, and I just went into people's backlines. It was so much fun.
Flex support.
Bro.
We should probably talk about it, though. I think ignore.
Yes, talk about.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
put my hat in for support now. Dizzy's coming in on the
Yeah,
sticks.
yeah.
Mhm.
Let's hear it, Dizzy. What you got?
I peaked 3.7.
Oh, I thought you were gonna tell me who your flex
Ah.
supports were.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just gonna skip my role.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I think it's Monarch. Honestly, I think you're really good for MI6. Very important. And then I would also go Eye Mustache because
Alright, I have to say, if
he's
Axel
insane.
Paxo was still in the league,
He had
think-
one. He had one good game, bro. He had one.
No. I do think if he was still in the league, he would be number 1 overall flex support. Again, I'm a biased person, but I do believe he can just drag people across the finish line if he must.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I mustache and Axel Paxo if he was still in the league, but he isn't. So my pick is not pulling up the player application right now at all. Trust.
Totally.
Yes.
I would probably say. I don't know. I don't feel right saying myself. I don't know.
you should. Yeah, but yeah.
I guess
If,
it's not
okay,
like
just
self-confidence.
if Dizzy picked himself. Really, he was
Okay.
I did not pick myself.
I would probably
That was
say
cap.
me and I put I'm a stash like 1,000 tiers above me, and then I just put me as like the second one. Again, same thing with just me not watching a bunch of DC games. I'd probably have like a higher opinion of. Is it Basket or Silvertall's?
Basket's been playing lately, and he has been playing really well. Silvertall's play. I think it's been
watched-
2 games.
Because
since
I
he's
watched
been
like some of their earlier games, and I knew Silvertall's was in. I just didn't know like.
It's
Who's
it's
their
been
starter?
Basket a lot recently, yeah. And he's been playing well. He has been playing well,
Yeah.
so yeah. I would agree with those, yeah.
We did it. We made through the list.
Made it through the list.
We
Those
did. We did.
awards.
August. Now I just have to put this in a tier list now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Going through the list was pretty much just going through Tenacity's starting roster plus one more.
I mean, I think the only and I'd have
I mean, like they're the best team in the league. Like it's hard to go against them.
I mean, yeah, they're the only one with double-digit map differential. Only people who haven't lost a game, obviously. Like they
Scrimming 5 times a week.
they have played all of the teams that have a positive. No, they're playing Exodus this week, and then they play. Who do they play the last week? Thought Police. I think.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
no, no. It's Pega Parrots.
Papega, yeah, that's or Papega. That's another like
GP.
Papega gets to play DC.
They might or might not be match fixing. Wink, wink, cough, cough. I'm capping, by the way. Am I though? Who knows? I'm joking.
We'll talk about Tenacity's map fixing scandal now. like-
2 weeks. 2 weeks later, Papega Parrots 3-0 Tenacity.
Okay. We'll actually go over these. Sorry. So DC versus who? DC's playing Exodus. No, not Exodus. Who are they playing? Papega.
Yep.
Yeah, Papega. No, wait. Don't they play MI6 this week? Or
DC
who do
plays
y'all play?
Papega. DC's already played MI6. They beat them. Remember?
You guys play Cap. Okay. So, oh wait, yeah. I'm looking at this thing wrong. I'm so dumb. DC. We both have 3-1. I think PP looks better, but I also think that the double shield trick won't really work against DC like it did versus Cap, because DC can actually play a good double shield and play fire of their own with Tanic, and they have like a really competent hit scan that can really bring it down, as well as Katagiri's Diva. You know, I think it's easier.
Yeah, I feel like Papega are just like. I feel like just like as like a team overall, they're just weaker than DC.
They have a rough go at the schedule while they're looking better. It's probably came at the hardest time, right? Like going up against DC and Tenacity, like it's hard back to backs. Like it's hard. I think while DC also kind of had a shaky start and looked a little shaky on some maps, like I think they looked really good this week, even though it was close against Exodus. They always seem to have a plan, and like honestly just outplayed them this week. So yeah, they're a good team.
Yeah. I mean,
who will win, DC or Papega Parrots in 2.0? We will find out next time.
I still think DC wins. I think they take maps though now. I don't think Papega wins. And then we move on to MI6 versus Capitalism. I have a 3-1 because I still think Capitalism can take a map. Jeff has 3-0. Analysts 86% in favor of MI6, 82% community. I think just Capitalism is probably boomed at this point. I don't even know like.
Damn, we gotta get that percentage higher.
I mean, bro. I mean, versus Thought Police. Wait till like look at the percentage for Mortal Kombat for Thought Police, bro. Like, people are always gonna vote like for other teams. Like, it just is how it works.
Yeah.
Also, even if there's no reason for them to think that, and like, it's. There's not much else to say. I think MI6 just looks more coordinated. Like, I think Capitalism. Like, I also don't know what lineup Capitalism running because they ran 4 new starters versus Papega, bro. Like, who the heck? What is going on with that team? And they also haven't done any signings.
I think it's just a combination of I think genuinely we're the stronger team, and also I feel like Capitalism right now are just because of all their new signings, they're in that stage of really trying to like get everyone to like really play well together. So I'm really confident that we're gonna at least like 3-1. Hopefully, it doesn't turn to another Cap get reverse sweep scenario.
It would be funny.
Well, that would just be heartbreaking for Cap. Imagine getting 3-0. Imagine getting reverse swept like 3 weeks in a row. That would be
4 times in a season. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's just Shanghai, season 1. I'm just cheering them for just one win, and after that, they just delete themselves.
Well, they have a chance. They have a chance next. I don't think this week. I think MI6 is too coordinated, but yeah. Hopefully, maybe they can prove it wrong. Maybe something's clicked, but yeah, I don't think MI6 is going to struggle with trying to break apart what Capitalism likes to do. I think a lot of teams figure it out, and that's why they get reverse sweeped, and they suck at adapting. So I think MI6 is just gonna dismantle this team, honestly.
Yeah, like there's nothing really more to say. I don't know. Like, I want Capitalism to win, but like at this point, I like they have one winnable game left, and that like truly winnable anyway.
Yeah.
And like honestly, like if Capitalism like finishes those wins, like we're in a completely different conversation right now. You know.
Yeah,
like,
that'd be 3-2, right? That'd be
2-3, 2-3.
well. Oh, that's no, because they've 2 weeks, and then I'm also including the DC one. Sorry, that they kind of threw that Volskaya. Yeah.
So yeah, and like if they just clean up their map fives, like they're the only team that's like consistently gone to map 5 against other teams. So yeah, but
They took
moving.
map off of us.
Yeah, only team would take map off tenacity as well.
But and like
I'm
it
just
was
kidding.
wild.
We're just gonna ignore the ravioli Genji.
All right, moving on to the next game is Mortal Wombat versus Thought Police. Jeff is 3-0. 71% of analysts are in favor of Mortal Wombat, and 77% of the community is in favor of Mortal Wombat. That's what I mean, Monarch. Like, but at the same time, like, if I'm being honest, like, who knows what the new roster Thought Police might roll out on? They have a new manager, they have new everything.
Yeah.
So,
Give them trust. We trust.
Yeah, bro.
I just think it's too much to turn around in a week. And I think Mortal Wombat, while they have their issues, if Slimeall's there, like I think they're gonna be pretty comfortable.
Yeah, and again, it's also just a thing of, in a way, a team that's been established for way longer, just taking advantage of a team that's trying to slot in new pieces really into the season.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's really it. Like, I think, unless Dizzy, you have something you want to add? What
Give
lineup
them
they
trust,
even
we
run, bro?
trust. Let's go.
All
We
right,
win these.
No, yeah, Dizzy's convinced me. Top police 3.
that's
I
fair.
have been converted.
Converted to the Church of Thought Police, the Church of Hypnotos.
29% of analysts think Thought Police is gonna.
I mean, you got to pick an upset, I guess. And if people
are
knew,
confident.
but
more
also
people-
remember, if that thing came out, like, if people knew Trigger was going to take over, they couldn't know about the rebuild, you know.
Yeah,
like,
that's
there's a
fair.
ton of things.
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
there's a ton of things that go in. Like, if the Thought Police we know,
Church.
if the Thought Police we know is playing, I don't think they win. But like,
I'm
who
gonna
knows?
be Pope
Yeah.
of the Hypnotos Church.
Oh my
Monarch,
God,
you're
Dizzy.
gonna be bishop.
Yeah, I'll be your bishop.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
I'm changing
Anyway.
my name right now.
Anyway, let's move on to the last game. Tenacity versus X. No, wait. No, wait.
Exodus.
Is it Exodus?
It's been.
It's Exodus.
It's still Exodus.
Bro, Exodus
yeah.
can't catch a break. Oh, wait, yeah, they had the rough half of the schedule, the second half. Jeff has 3-1. I have a 3-0. Analysts 86%. Community 77%. Now, according to Rye, we might be seeing some interesting lineups he told me today. So I don't know if my 3-0 is going to hold. But I don't think... I just don't see them winning. Like, yeah, they've looked better, but, like, Tenacity is the best team for a reason. Now, if they win, like, them getting the 2 or the 3 seed is very doable. You know? If they lose, though, it's going to be much harder. They have to hope that Mortal Wombat DC keep losing.
Yeah.
I just want to see more Maybach caps, to be honest. Like, honestly, it's entertaining.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm leaning more towards the 3-0 for Tenacity. Despite what I said earlier, I still think what they're probably going to do is they're probably just going to go to Gibraltar for their escort and just put Kate in, as they've been doing for the last 2 games. But the thing is, against like a lower tier team that's like not as coordinated, you can absolutely just let Kate beam literally everyone. But against Tenacity, like a top team that actually is like
Also,
coordinated, knows what they're
Kate
doing.
has the worst bubble usage ever. Like, me and you both know
What
this one.
bubble usage?
Yeah,
What-
bro. He just builds energy and goes burr. That's it.
That's all of his.
That's his entire plan.
That is his entire plan with every ability, even Grav. He just chucks those out.
Yes. But like in Kate we trust, I guess.
Yeah. You know what? In my boy, we trust.
I'm
3-0.
kind of nervous to go against the Googler main tank. Gotta be honest.
I mean, he's played well. Definitely upgrade from their old main tank.
Gurgler has played. I mean, at least on Rhine, I think that might just be the hero he understands the best on the main tank. But
yeah, I think he's even said it. He said it last week in the countdown. Like, he's monkeying his ball. He's not that confident on because he hasn't had to play it. But like, he's done okay. His Rhines look good. You know.
Yeah. Exodus hasn't looked like it's not like the DC game was a blowout either, right? Like only Volskaya looked like was an actual like true blowout. Every other map was pretty close. So it's not like Exodus is like they're not on the level of Pepega Parrots before they made their roster changes, right? Or like Thought Police. I think they were always above there, but they were in that weird like limbo spot where they're not a top team. Yeah, I don't think they were ever a top 3 team. Maybe by record, but never by like gameplay.
I'm gonna say this. My goal is to make Exodus take a second Exodus.
You're gonna give them a third roster? Like,
Yes.
make
I'll be on it.
Exodus keep a team for a week challenge, dude. Like,
Well, if that
I-
happens, I swear, bro.
well, the signing window closes, so
Yeah.
You know
Alright.
where I'm going. Sunglasses.
I think we've covered everything this week.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much good to go. I mean, thank you all for joining us, Dizzy, Monarch. Thanks for coming up. You know, I hope everyone enjoyed the discussion. I know it kind of rambled a bit when we talked about like all stars and everything, but it was a good
Nev's
discussion.
brain broke when he
Wait,
read something
I-
Fish
I
said, I guess. Like,
Wait, what?
Could I advertise something real quick?
What are you
The Church of Hypnotos
Oh,
will be meeting tomorrow at 7 EST before scrims. We'll come together for a prayer in
We're gonna
Hypnotos' name.
inhale all of that hope and all of that hopium.
Okay.
Opium.
All right.
And one more closing remark from me. I just remembered my good friend Lord just reminded me to say this. Greek is currently the player that has the most map losses against Pepega.
Sure.
that's
True,
a good
'cause He's
stat.
lost 4 to them. He's
Uh,
lost he's lost 4 to them. Oh wow. Anyway, thanks for joining us, y'all.
Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of Countdown. This is week 6, I believe. Luckily this time, I believe I have my mic working. I see it in the OBS, so hopefully we don't have a mishap again. But this week, we have Chromed and Lupical, and once again, me and Asdo.
Sup, everyone? Oh my god, where's the energy? People, come on!
Hello.
Guests, how are we doing? How are we doing on this lovely night?
Great. How are you guys doing?
Oh, just excellent.
Perfect.
Could not be better.
Perfect. I am doing great. But with that being said, let's go ahead and go into the recap. So our first game, Axolotl Syndicate against Hope's Peak. Axolotl Syndicate won 3-0. The player of the match was Saint JJ, and our honorable mentions are Glacial and Kurt Lebert. I mean, it's a top 2 team against a bottom 2 team. Like, we've seen this in the past couple of weeks. It's just like it's a 3-0 almost every time.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest takeaways is the player of the match in St. JJ, where we've seen Jaybird kind of taken over a lot earlier into the season. Watching them integrate St. JJ into that main tank role and having them actually do very well and like bring a lot of presence in that main tank role. That's really the biggest takeaway from me. I mean, other than that, it's 3 Overwatch. We GG go next kind of thing.
Yeah. It's not really much to say. Our second game was Powerhouse against Goofy Goobers. Powerhouse winning 3-0. Player of the match is Marquee 8, and the honorable mentions are Rectophobia and Speed. Once again, just Powerhouse being a top dog, you know, Goofy Goobers kind of being a bottom dog.
I wouldn't even say it's so much a bottom dog. I mean, we've talked about it.
Powerhouse
talked about
is just good. Like,
yeah, like we have some pretty clear top 2 teams based on the standings, but again, like it's just little things going wrong in these matches. I don't think it's sheer dominance one way. Yeah, we're seeing 3-0s, but I feel like these teams are still putting up like good games. I don't know what to
they're
actually analyze with the teams that are losing, but in general, like it's still not blowouts.
Yeah, they're close 3-0s, that's for sure. But
yeah, like it's hard to say, and I mean with Powerhouse as well. I mean, we came into this league expecting them to do well, and look at that, they're doing well. Who would have known? But
yeah,
as well, I mean, I know I've kind of pointed focus towards St. JJ in the Axolotl game, but I think in general the tank line from Powerhouse has definitely. We haven't really talked about them too much, and I think they've been doing very well.
Yeah,
they've been unbelievably consistent. They've been putting in work. They just keep showing up every game, and that's what we hoped this team would show.
Yeah, I do have a couple things to say about their tank line later, but Do either of you, Chromed or Lupical, have anything to say about your matches respectively?
Yeah, I think that St. JJ definitely performed very well in the match against us, but another person to also look out for was Spork. Spork was there consistently putting out healing and was sort of a thorn in our backside during the match. So I think she could do very well moving forward.
Yeah.
I think just the match with Powerhouse, like they have like no weaknesses, it seems. They have like a really solid roster, enough solid enough to where they're able to bring different people in to specialize on like a certain comp. So it's just kind of crazy to see how flexible they are.
Yeah, their depth's insane. Like it's kind of unfair how much.
Yeah.
Like the fact that their bench is what it is kind of insane.
Yeah, it's just probably I would dare say it's one of the most built teams like ever to play in League Zero. Like I feel like this Powerhouse team would contend with a lot of the teams in like Expert Season 3 and Season 2. But yeah,
I mean, maybe.
I mean, they're good. They're really good.
Yeah, oh no, they are. They've shown up and they've kind of batted away any concerns we had at the start. Like they've been dominant, but still, who knows? I mean, teams can definitely take advantage of it if they get caught napping. Like, could be over.
Yeah, they can't get too confident because that's always a downfall. But we'll go ahead and move on to our predictions. So our first game. Oh wait, yeah, there we go. Okay, our first game is Goofy Goobers against Hope's Peak. I said 3-1 to Hope's Peak. Asdo said the same. 83% of our analysts predict Hope's Peak and 75% of our community. I just feel like right now Hope's Peak has kind of bounced back from their roster troubles that happened a couple weeks ago, and I feel like this game will be could be a bouncing off point for them, maybe being able to contend with Axolotl and even Powerhouse.
Yeah, I think this game's gonna be interesting because I think last week we had kind of seen the first game with a lot of roster moves, with some free agents, some trades going through. That time period has kind of gone past now.
Yeah, no more free agents.
They've been gone, but also the players that were moved, they should be starting to get comfortable in their teams. So I think this will be a much more competitive match. And again, I am hoping I want Goofy Goobers to push to a game, at least a map 5. At least a map 5. That's what I want to see. I think Hope's Peak takes it, but it's hard to say.
Yeah. Now, I still think Goofy Goobers has a chance to be good. I've heard that they've been doing well in scrims. You know, they've just been working together. I feel like we're getting closer to the end of the season, but they have kept their core basically strong throughout the whole season. So I feel like that could be very meaningful in this last stretch of games.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Lupico, I'll ask you just to kind of bring you in a little bit. What do you think about moving forward with Goofy Goobers? Do you see your team kind of pushing through and kind of getting over some of these hiccups, or do you think it's going to still take a bit to work through?
No, yeah, I see. So I felt like we made a lot of progress even after this last game. We got swept, but we really like our team morale was pretty, like, it was up the entire time. No one was like, I don't know, it seemed like everyone was just having a good time, and the energy was a lot of fun. And if we can like translate that into like performing well, I mean, the energy goes up even higher, and I think it can just only get better from there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so like, yeah, we're still figuring things out at the moment, but we're happy with the progress we've made so far.
Awesome. No, that's good. Any progress is always nice to see, and at the end of the day, if you're having fun, you're a real winner, aren't you? That's the message here. So,
gotta win where it counts.
Exactly.
Okay, well, That being said, let's move on to our next game, which is Axolotl against Powerhouse. I said 3-2 to Axolotl, Asdo 3-2 to Powerhouse. 57% of our community says Axolotl, and 57% of our analysts say Axolotl, and 69% of the community says Powerhouse.
Nice.
I feel like this is the game where Axolotl will do better than Powerhouse. I feel like
this is the tough one. Like,
yeah,
this is
it's going to
first-
be one of the better games of the season for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the last matchup we saw from them, I'm fairly sure Powerhouse took it in a 3-2 map 5 thriller, and I think we're gonna see another one of those. I don't see how this can't go to a map 5. I can see it going either way. I'm predicting Powerhouse mainly for the fact that, again, that tank line looking strong. They have flexibility. Like we're seeing a lot of things come through, and Axolotl, other than the last Powerhouse game, hasn't necessarily been fully tested. I guess you could say the same for Powerhouse, but I don't know. There's something that's got me leaning towards Powerhouse taking it again in 5. What's your thoughts for Axolotl here?
Me?
Yeah.
I just feel like it's another like synergy thing. Like this team already had synergy going into the season, but I feel like that has built up even more, especially since they have been, kind of getting more confidence in these games since they've been like 3-0ing, and then their game they took Powerhouse really, really close. Like I feel like they have just a reason to come into this game thinking they can win this. It's not hopeless for them.
No, for sure. I mean, again, this is going to be a solid game. It's going to be something to look forward to. It's just gonna. I don't know what to say. It's just gonna be some great Overwatch. It's what we want here.
I think to a certain degree, the game will boil down to which team has the most flexibility on spam comps, because as the meta has evolved, we've seen like the ball Tracer Sombra come out a lot more, and also the ball Echo Ash variation also come out a lot more. And both of these teams have proven themselves to be strong on dive and brawl, but not necessarily on that ball comp. So it's going to be interesting to see that going forward.
What's interesting though is that there is a potential for the current experimental patch to go in before the game happens, and that could be a very interesting thing for Ball, because I think that somewhat changes him a little bit, because he doesn't get the free grapple out of spawn anymore. So like there could be some weird things that happen there. I doubt there's any comp changes, but the experimental changes could be enough to like swing the game into one team's favor, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd have to imagine that they are practicing other comps, but I know when there is turnover, a lot of teams will try to just kind of play whatever they see as meta, whatever the teams they're facing up in scrims are playing, whatever they see on Owl, things like that. But if you kind of stick to a comp that I know Atlanta Reign's really good with it, where if you just run something you're comfortable on, usually you'll beat a team that's still trying to learn a composition. So we'll see what happens. I think there's definitely a good point brought up that we're leaning towards more of a spam meta right now.
Yeah. But that's it for our predictions. Let's go ahead and move on to our question of the week. So basically, who do you guys think is gonna get MVP? Who do you think is Rookie of the Year? Lupical, Chrome, I would say just say for your own teams, because I'm guessing you guys just like are unsure about the other teams a little bit. But I'll go ahead and start. I will say MVP. I'm gonna say there's a management person, and then there's a player. For the management, I'm gonna say One Punch Man. I think is just been downright the best manager just so far. He's built a strong team that stayed together, has won every single game so far. Not to mention his coaching staff. He has Clay Machine, who I believe coaches a top 8 OD team, and I'm not too sure about the other two, but I know I'm pretty familiar with Clay Machine. But just from the start, that team has been good, and I think that rests a lot on One Punch Man. But for my player, And Rookie of the Year, I will say Speed. I'm pretty sure he hasn't played before, but he's just been like just the main man on Powerhouse this season, and I think a lot of the credit goes to him and how he's been playing.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good point. I'm kind of leaning in a slightly different direction for at least my MVP candidate, because I'm not too sure about who's a rookie and who's not. But for MVP, I'm going the opposite side of the tank line with X-Runner. I think X-Runner's been phenomenally consistent, continues to put up good performances, and in that off-tank role, pretty much regardless of the meta, you have a very important and dominant position and can lead your team to success and also throw a lot of the time. I don't know, there's just something there that I feel like Speed's looking insanely good with the help of X-Runner. So that's my pick there. I guess we can kind of move over to our guests here. For your individual teams, who do you think's probably been the most valuable player?
So I think for like our team MVP, I think is probably Eok. I think Eok has been super consistent the entire season. And he's just always is performing well. And the off tank, he's just a solid off tank player. Definitely our team MVP in my eyes.
I mean, every time I watch Eok on Hollywood, it's a treat.
Mm-hmm.
Their diva's fantastic. I don't know what it is, but they're always tracking pulses, whatever they got to do. Like they look strong every time.
Yeah, he gets an insane amount of matrix value. It's crazy. And then when we play our double bubble, he's very good at Zarya. He's like his positioning is very good. He's just always max energy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
He's just super solid. And then for for rookie for our team, I'm not sure if Amelia Schleim is a rookie. But
I believe they are. I'm pretty sure like 90% of Goofy Goobers are rookies, except for Phone. I think Phone is the only one who's played before.
Yeah, I think it's Phone.
Yeah,
Eok.
played in lower divisions though.
Yeah, but I think our rookie of the season of the year candidate is definitely Schleim. On main support, his ult tracking is like super good. He's very, very good Lucio. Builds beat super fast. I think I'd give our rookie of the year to him.
Right on. Chrome, what do you got for Hope's Peak here?
For Hope's Peak, there's two. It's sort of the same way that RMM did his thing. There's the managerial side and there's also the player side. So, managerial wise, or just like consistency wise, I would have to give it to Knock on Wood. He's been to like every scrim and he keeps the morale of the team up. He's a really important part in that aspect, and also he's got that flexibility. Player wise, I'd have to give it to our other main support, Geode, because he's just so consistent with how quickly he builds beats, and he also shows up even though it's like 2 a.m. his time to every scrim.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Goat.
What a team player.
Rookie wise, I believe everyone on Hope's Peak is a veteran, so I can't really.
Has Dashi played before?
Dashi used to be known as Awesome Nader 3, I believe. So I think they played Season 0.
Oh,
Okay.
Woozy's not a rookie.
I feel like, yeah, Woozy, I'm pretty sure Woozy isn't either.
I believe Woozy played last season in Novice. I'm not certain.
Really?
No.
Really?
No.
Novice?
No, that was a different silence.
Wait a minute.
It was a different Silent Sword? Okay.
Yeah, it was a different one.
Oh, okay.
Woozy's he's a rookie.
I was about to say, like...
well, then I'd have to give it to Woozy.
You know, that
Right
reminds
on,
me. Let's just throw out another award real quick, since we've only been here for like 15 minutes. Let's do a most improved. Who do you think has improved? Let's just say, if it applies to your team, just from the beginning of the season to right now, Mainly Goofy Goobers because they have all rookies. But if you have like veteran people from previous seasons of League Zero, who's improved from like last season to now? Let me scan the rosters real quick. I guess just looking at it right now, I'd say probably Lechuga. Just mainly because the last time I believe she played. Did she play last season? No, she was on Powerhouse. She wasn't considered very good on Powerhouse last season for Advanced. And now they have improved enough to where they're considered one of the top players of their role in the top division. I feel like that's just a insane level of like insane jump of skill.
Yeah, I think I'd be just completely out of my element trying to say who's improved the most. I'll tell you that right now. I think if our guests want to go to their picks for their teams, I would just be throwing out a name.
I think the obvious one for Goofy Goobers has to be Phone.
Yeah, that is true. That's true.
Because they were intermediate, novice.
They
Last
were
season
intermediate, but there is some controversy to that intermediate placement there. For those who don't know, I believe they ranked up to like Masters right after the season started. So there were some people that wanted them.
They jumped from, I'm fairly sure they were at like 3.3 or 3.2 at lock, and then jumped up to like 3.9.
Yeah,
like it was just a massive jump.
We in the off season, funnily enough, we were making a rule about that, and I suggested we call it the phone rule, but obviously that got shot down. But yeah, I do agree. Phone has improved a lot. I feel like going into the season, Phone was looked upon as maybe one of the lower end flex DPS, but I think they have definitely cemented themselves as a legitimate top flex DPS.
They're a solid option. Like they look good when they're in. That's really the key thing when you're coming in as a rookie that's kind of got a lot of pressure on you.
And she's really stepped up as our captain. So we changed captains during the season, and I'm pretty sure we all voted for Phone to be our new captain.
Mm-hmm.
And they've just been doing great with being a leader, keeping spirits up, and all that stuff. So, yeah, my most improved would definitely go to Phone.
I think I would give my most improved to another person on Axolotl being Jaybird, because Jaybird did come into the season very strong, but I think he's definitely improved a lot through that time. Like, as the level of play has gone up with more synergy being obtained, he went from being strong to being scary.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we had Jaybird on last week, and a delight to have on, but just constantly just tearing up front lines. Like, just looks really good anytime they're in, and the fact that they continue to improve and get better is just a great sign of what player they still can become.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think, I mean, honestly, if I could, I would give most improved to the whole Axolotl team, because honestly, all of them were like, I remember during the draft, all of them were kind of, their picks were kind of questionable. Like, I think like the only one that people really thought was like, hey, yeah, that's a pretty good pick. I think they mesh well on every other team was Toasty. Like, Jaybird, I think he's rookie technically. I don't believe he's played before. Lechuga, no one's seen her play in a while. Kurt, same deal. Glacial was good last season. So, he was, considered a good pick too. But Acid June, even though he was a top flex DPS in advanced, some people thought, or last season in advanced, some people thought like they were unsure about how him last season would compare to this season, how a higher level of play, how he would turn over with that. St. JJ is new. Painless, I don't think he's played much, so I can't really say. But, you know, that whole team has just gotten so much better. It's insane to me. They've really proven everyone wrong, and I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that'll wrap it up here. Chrome, Lupical, if you have anything to say to anyone on the other teams, go ahead and say it. It could be anything. Just make it like not get the video restricted and act mad at me, because I don't want that.
All right. So I don't know too much about like the MVP and Rookie of the Year frontrunners, but if I had to guess, it's both of those are probably going to go to someone from Powerhouse.
The one thing I really have to say is make sure that you watch Open Division next week. There's going to be, I'm not sure who is against who, but I think it's Best Buds versus Kyrix is one of the matches.
Be the
Yeah, I
bud.
think so.
Be the bud.
Yeah, so I just go watch Open Division. It's going to be fantastic Overwatch.
Yeah, this is one of the more interesting open divisions we've had.
It's been spicy.
Yeah. But once again, I've been RMM here with Asdo, Chrome, Lupical. Thank you, and yeah, have a good rest of your week.